Tonight on SpeedWeek, after Scott did this, Jacques got this. Gordon's night in Charlotte went up in flames, but the stars were shining bright for Labonte. It's Memorial Day. It's Monaco. It's Mecca. It's madness. It's next on SpeedWeek. Hi, everyone. Welcome to SpeedWeek. I'm Bob Jenkins. All of us here hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. In the next half hour, we will have an extensive recap of the major stories, including the post-race activities and reactions from the Indianapolis 500 and the Coca-Cola 600. And we begin with encouraging news on the condition of Indy driver Stan Fox. Our Gary Lee is at Methodist Hospital in downtown Indianapolis with an update. Gary?
Bob, we have very good news. Stan's condition today has been upgraded from critical to fair. He is now said to be conscious with his eyes open and responding to simple commands. And once again, there were no broken bones. And that in itself is incredible considering the violence of the crash. Fox started from the middle of row 4, but just as that section of the field entered turn 1, his car veered sharply right and headed straight to the outside wall. Eddie Cheever was able to cushion some of the impact, but Fox's car was sheared in half. As you can see by this amateur video, Fox, who is highlighted, got down over the rumble strips. When he tried to correct, the car veered to the right and began a chain reaction. Carlos Guerrero, Lynn St. James, Jill DeFerrin, and Eric Bachelor were all victims of the aftermath and debris. Fox was transported to Methodist Hospital with a severe head injury and underwent immediate surgery to remove a blood clot. On Wednesday, his neurosurgeon met with the media.
The most encouraging signs are that initially, when he was seen at the track and evaluated there, he was totally unresponsive, and on that same rating scale, had a very low score, and his condition has improved with regard to that.
The family of Stan Fox would like to take the opportunity to thank the city of Indianapolis, state of Indiana, the race fans from all over the United States, along with his fellow drivers and racing community, for your overwhelming concern and best wishes for Stan's condition. Your kindness has given great strength and comfort to all those close to Stan.
Stan's wife, Jean, has been surrounded by friends and relatives and members of the racing community offering a special type of support, but the family has made one request: please, no flowers. You may send your cards and letters, though, to Stan Fox in care of Methodist Hospital, P.O. Box 1367, Indianapolis, Indiana, and the zip is 46206.
The various penalties and wild finishes of the 500 has undoubtedly stirred up a lot of conversation among those who witnessed or watched the race. Our SpeedWeek staff has been doing just the same thing, and we found some key elements to explain the outcome. Villeneuve, who started 5th, had worked his way into the lead on lap 36. The caution flew moments later for debris on the track. It took some time for the pace car to pick up Villeneuve, but this is not where his passing of the pace car caused USAC to penalize him. Here, Jacques immediately backed up and took his place. The infraction had actually occurred one lap prior. When Jacques and the pace car initially hooked up, the two cars in front of him were waved ahead. But the video clearly shows the pace car was showing Jacques to hold his position. It was at this time Chief Steward Tom Benford assessed the penalty, and Villeneuve was not scored for lap 39 or lap 40. Now in 23rd position, he pitted, and as leader Andretti came around, Jacques was officially put 2 full laps down. He was now 27th, but remember, he was off sync on pit stops. On lap 66, Andretti pitted under green, handing over the lead to Scott Goodyear, who also came in for service. Villeneuve, with plenty of fuel, picked up the first of his 2 lost laps. Just under 2 hours into the race on lap 120, leader Goodyear again pitted under green. Villeneuve, who had consistently pitted under yellow, stayed out and picked up lap number 2. 6 minutes later, Andre Ribeiro stopped on the backstretch, bringing out another caution. The highlighted car is Jacques making his stop during this caution, putting him back in sync and now only 25 seconds back on the lead lap. With possibly the fastest car on the track, Jacques picked his way back to the front and was running second behind Goodyear when the most surprising thing happened.
He let the pace car go away very early, and he stepped on it before turn 3. So by the time we got in turn 4, we were already doing 180 miles an hour. And there's no way that the pace car could have been out of the racetrack by then. You know, it's only a street car. It doesn't have our power or our grip. So I jammed on the brakes when I saw that, not to overtake it, and I was expecting that Scott would do the same thing. And he just kept on going, and I was really surprised. But then I knew that he wasn't in the lead anymore, and all I had to do was work with the guys behind me because they didn't have to brake as much, and I had to block them so they wouldn't get by me. But when you have 10 laps to go and you're leading the 500s, you know, you do anything it takes not to lose that lead.
Villeneuve held off the 6 remaining lead lap cars to become the first Canadian winner in the 79-year history of the 500. And he may have also been the first to drive 202 laps to do it.
I don't see how it could get better than this. It's a great feeling. It'd be great to win some other ones, but, you know, it's a tough race. Any race is tough to win, and this one is even tougher. So no, I'm really happy that you know, we could get this win for Team Green and 4 Players Limited.
Christian Fittipaldi virtually mirrored the 94 race of Villeneuve, finishing in the runner-up position and earning Rookie of the Year honors. The ex-Formula One driver overcame his first-week jitters to help put the Fittipaldi name back on top at Indy. But it was his father and not Uncle Imo who greeted him first.
No doubt that it meant a lot, but it's still floating. It's not sinking in at the moment. I learned a lot during the race, and I think that the most important lesson that I learned is that you just have to be there at the end of the race. If you're up there, top 4, top 5, the last 20, 30 laps, then I think you really have a good shot at the race, and I think that was the most important lesson for us during the whole weekend.
The entire nation of Chile was riding with 4th place finisher Eliseo Salazar. It was a rewarding end to a month that saw him just barely make the field as the slowest qualifier.
I'd like to thank everybody at Big Simon Racing. So first, you know, I hugged them. Then my father was here obviously for the very first time. This was my first time in Indy 500, and I remember, you know, my memories were, my feelings at that stage were of Chile. You know, we are a small country, 14 million people, and I knew everybody was watching for the very first time. It was live there, so I knew I had, you know, 14 million people thinking of me. So I was very proud to be the first Chilean and finish so high, you know, in my very first race.
As we go to break, here are some well wishes to Stan Fox from Monday night's victory banquet.
Warm thoughts to Foxes. We're thinking of you and sending our love and prayers.
If my job yesterday was to make Stan's impact with the wall a little bit softer, I'm glad that I was there. Get well quick, Stan.
Our hearts go out to Stan Fox and his family.
Most of all, I want to be sure and send all of our love and our warmest and deepest thoughts to Stan Fox and his family.
We're all, you know, pulling for him and want to see him back here again next year.
So all my heart goes to Stan Fox and his family. And it doesn't matter if he comes back to racing as long as he has a full recovery.
Welcome back to Speed Week. 1 year ago, Jeff Gordon scored a very popular and emotional first NASCAR Winston Cup victory at the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte. Already armed with a victory at the Winston Select and the pole position for this year's 600, Gordon was the odds-on favorite going into Sunday's race. Jeff is the only driver to win more than 1 pole this year, and he has an incredible 5. Bobby Labonte started beside Gordon in the front row. Jeff experienced one problem after another. First, a brake rotor caught fire, necessitating a pit stop. Then moments later, the right front wheel came off, resulting in a long visit to the garage area for repairs. Darrell Waldrop, suffering intolerable pain from 3 broken ribs suffered in the Winston Select, got relief help from Jimmy Hensley, who drove the Western Auto Chevy to an 18th place finish. The radar on Bill Elliott's Thunder Batmobile obviously failed as his car blew a tire and flew directly into the first turn wall. Elliott was uninjured but didn't return to the race. Rusty Wallace did after he was turned sideways by Robert Presley and had a similar encounter with the concrete. However, he would drop out later and finish 34th. With Dale Earnhardt leading, Labonte asserted both his horsepower and his front bumper in moving to the point as Ken Schrader came to second and Terry Labonte to third. Leading the most laps and dropping out with less than 50 circuits to go, the luckless Kenny Schrader.
Not too good today. I need a bud real bad.
Earnhardt was running third with 10 laps to go when he needed a splash of fuel. The late stop cost him a lap and 3 positions. Ricky Rudd suffered a similar fate, dropping him from third to fifth. In his 74th Winston Cup start, 31-year-old Bobby Labonte gets his first trip to victory lane. His brother Terry got to witness the occasion just 6 seconds back in the runner-up spot. Earnhardt's 6th place pushes him 80 points up on Mark Martin, who finished 10 laps down in 28th. Gordon drops from 3rd to 4th and is now 101 behind Earnhardt. Now, here's Benny Parsons.
Thanks, Bob. For the second year in a row, the Coca-Cola 600 has produced a first-time Winston Cup winner. This time it's Bobby Labonte. Congratulations, Bobby.
Thanks, Benny. I appreciate that.
Well, now, you've had a few days since the race. Has it sunk in yet? Do you really know that you won the Coca-Cola 600?
I don't know that it's sunk in all yet. I mean, it's just, it's neat, and it's just like, I know it's happened, but then every now and then I'll get in my car and I'll go to do something, and I'll go, wait a minute now, this is a little different here. And I mean, you know, something just hits me, and I'll say, wait a minute, did I win that race or not? I think I did, didn't I? You know, it's just a weird feeling, but it's exciting. I know that.
Did you and Jimmy Makar have some type of strategy that before the race, and then did that change once Jeff Gordon and Kenny Schrader had their trouble?
The only strategy that we had was we wanted to be there at the end. You know, we wanted to run hard. We wanted to pace ourselves throughout the race and be there at the end, and it all worked out. I mean, there isn't really anything I would change that we did throughout the race. You know, we weren't leading for a while. There was other cars running up front in front of us. We're 5th or 6th, but we run our own pace. We knew what we wanted to run, and we run that. And then whenever we needed to get the car a little bit better, it worked out at the end.
What did Coach Gibbs say to you when you got to victory lane?
He said, "You're my man." I said, "You're mine."
I guarantee you.
Yeah. I tell you, he's excited. You know, got us on the winner's circle. You know, he was off the winner's circle for a little bit. Now he's back on it, and that was the last spot open. I mean, he was tickled to death. It's just like the whole crew was. You know, we grown together in such a short period of time, and it was a great feeling for him like it was me.
When you walk in Dover Friday morning for the Miller Genuine Draft 500, do you think you're going to feel any different? Is there momentum or anything that's going to be carried along?
Well, I hope so. You know, I mean, we've taken it one race at a time all year long, and I know that that's the way we're going to look at Dover. You know, hey, this last week's over with. You know, we won last weekend, but this is a new weekend. I mean, anything can happen. We've had reality checks throughout the year so far, and you know, but we know that we're confident enough that we can go in there and, okay, you know, we might not win, but we'll do the best we can and try to finish as good as we can. And you know, some races that we go to, a 13th place finish is good for me, you know, and then this past weekend, 1st place finish was good for the team. So, you know, Dover's one of those weekends where I'll go in there and say, hey, let's just do the best we can and see how we come out of here.
And you're going to have full double duty.
Looks that way. David Green's still wounded up on the right-hand side on the shoulder blade. I don't think he's going to be well enough to run on Saturday. If he is, he's one tough guy, and we'll wait and see. But I think I'll probably end up driving his car for him.
Well, Bobby Labonte's won the Coca-Cola 600. As his prize, he gets to go to Dover and run 700 miles. Back to you.
Thank you, BP. Labonte's crew chief, Jimmy Makar, was named the Western Auto Chief Mechanic of the race. Besides the front row start, Labonte led 85 laps and has moved to 9th place in the Winston Cup point standings. The Charlotte outcome wasn't so good for crew chief Ray Evernham. He's been fined $60,000 and placed on probation for using suspension parts that did not meet NASCAR standards. The amount is the largest in NASCAR history.
The bottom line is it was a non-approved part. It wasn't an illegal part. It wasn't something that we made up here or drilled holes in like all the rumors are saying. You know, it was a store-bought part that we put on the car. It was not approved. And the reason it failed was human error. And I don't want to get into all of that, but, you know, 90% of the time when there's human element involved, there might be a problem. And I didn't intentionally mean to break any rules or to violate any safety rules or put anybody in danger. I mean, Jeff Gordon's my best friend. I certainly would ever put him in danger knowingly.
Evernham said he will not appeal the decision. And 10-year NASCAR owner Kenny Bernstein has put his team up for sale. Bernstein, who closed his IndyCar operation at the end of last season, will honor his commitments to finish the 1995 Winston Cup season and is looking to concentrate his efforts on his NHRA Budweiser Top Fuel team. Coming up on Speed Week, some happy campers in Lime Rock. Welcome back to Speed Week. Thousands of miles away from Indianapolis and Charlotte lies the glittering Principality of Monaco, home to the most famous Grand Prix race on the circuit. Here's Derek Daly.
Thanks, Bob. The glamorous Grand Prix of Monaco became just another holiday weekend for ousted Nigel Mansell, as his McLaren Mercedes seat was officially filled by fellow Brit Mark Blundell. The race started in dramatic fashion when John Alesi took the inside line from David Coulthard on the run to the first turn. From Alesi's in-car camera, you can see that the two cars made heavy contact and David Coulthard was launched into the air. Alesi also collected his teammate, Gerhard Berger. The race was stopped and the ensuing red flag gave the drivers involved a chance to dash back to the pits for a backup car and a second chance. With everyone back in their original grid positions, the race was restarted. This time, Damon Hill took the lead safely through Sandra Vogt, with Michael Schumacher tucked in close behind. While Hill and Schumacher extended their lead over the rest of the field, a total of 6 teams were forced into the pit lane to serve stop-and-go penalties for jumping the start. Hill eventually gave up his lead to Michael Schumacher when he made the first of 2 scheduled pit stops. Schumacher easily maintained the lead, with Alesi running a strong second. But the Frenchman's luck didn't hold out. As he attempted to lap Martin Brundle, the 2 cars collided at the back corner, putting them both in the guardrail. Largely because of pit strategy, the day belonged to Schumacher, and he took his 2nd consecutive win at Monte Carlo and his 3rd victory of the season. He also increased his points lead to 5 over second-place Damon Hill as the Formula One World Championship moves across the Atlantic to the Canadian Grand Prix next weekend. For Speed Week, I'm Derek Daly.
While Monday was a holiday for most of us, the racing tradition continued at Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. Joining IMSA, however, was the SCCA setting up a first-time doubleheader for their marquee divisions. Our Marty Reed was there.
That's right, Bob, and it was the SCCA Trans Am which kicked off the weekend despite wet weather conditions. Tom Kendall in the Jack Roush prepared Ford Mustang took the early lead on the inside at the drop of the green, but he was black flagged for jumping the start and had to make a stop-and-go penalty. Rob Rizzo inherited the top spot, but he was soon passed by Jamie Gallus, who would maintain the lead for the next 32 laps. The most serious incident of the event came off the downhill sweeping right-hander when Ron Fellows went off course and slammed hard into the tire barrier. Despite the impact, Fellows was able to walk away with only a muscle strain. After the restart, Boris Said and Dorsey Schrader were both able to get by Gallus going into turn 1, but Said received a black flag for the jump, giving the lead to Dorsey Schrader. Despite his first lap penalty, Kendall was able to muscle his way through the field, at times making it 3 abreast on the front stretch. Here he gets 2nd position from Bryce Cobb. Schrader was able to keep his tires warm despite the weather and held off the charging Kendall to post his 2nd Trans Am victory in a row.
Roy was telling me I had a pretty good lead. We were worried about a yellow, and I said I got the 600s, I got 430s, I got to run hard. So we ran a fast pace, and I backed it down when I got a big lead, and at the end I saw Kendall coming, but I opened up some lead, so we had some car left.
Next on the docket, the IMSA World Sports Cars, and it was James Weaver in the Dyson Ford, which went past Mauro Baldi on the outside for the lead into turn 1. Now, the wet track conditions may have caused one incident as Freddie Lienhardt went off track coming onto the front stretch, shot across the track in a 360-degree spin, almost collecting Stan Waddle. Frederick Ekblom joined the hunt behind the Ferraris and had a chance to win due to making 1 fewer pit stop than everyone else. Unfortunately, the suspension broke, ending the Oldsmobile Spice's day. The race featured a furious battle for the lead between Weaver and the Momo Ferrari driven by Wayne Taylor. Weaver, on his last pit stop, had changed to a softer compound tire, resulting in Taylor taking over first place. Weaver even spun on the last lap as he was trying to reel in Taylor, but was able to continue and hold on to 2nd place. Wayne Taylor took the checkered flag for his first career World Sports Car victory and his first race win since 1991. For Speed Week, I'm Marty Reed.
travel provided by Continental, with flights to more cities in Mexico than any other U.S. airline.
Our Dave Calabro is up next in the SpeedWeek newsroom. And Dave, everyone is anxious to know how the Penske's are doing in Milwaukee.
Thanks a lot, Bob. Like we predicted, Immo and Little Al have come back strong at the Milwaukee Mile. Now, rain hampered the first day of practice, but they did manage to get in 1 hour of green light time. And take a look at this. Immo leads the way, Little Al in third. Fourth place Indy finisher Eliseo Salazar, who never even laid eyes on the Milwaukee Mile until today, also makes the top 5. The speeds drop off on the second group of 5. Nowhere to be found is Indy winner Jack Villeneuve. He managed only a few laps and is 23rd on the speed chart. Jeff Gordon seems to have his problem solved as the Winston Cup Series moves this weekend to the Monster Mile at Dover. This makes 6 poles in 12 races for the DuPont team. The top 4 belongs to John Andretti, who will start 4th. 1986 winner Jeff Bodine is followed by Rookie of the Year leader Ricky Craven, Joe Nemechek, Hut Strickland, and Brett Bodine. Michael Waltrip is the highest Pontiac qualifier at 12th. Mark Martin and Morgan Shepherd are both looking for their first Dover victory lane. With a 32nd place finish at Charlotte, Del Jarrett dropped from 7th to 12th in the points. Phil Elliott will have to come from 20th position if he wants to lead his first lap of the season. The Busch Grand National Series will run 200 miles on Saturday on the new concrete surface. Tracy Leslie was over 2 miles an hour off the track record, but gets the pole position. The NHRA makes his first trip to Richmond for the Virginia Nationals. In the first round of pro qualifying, Blaine Johnson, Al Huffman, and Warren Johnson set fast speeds in between some rain showers. And finally, Bob, one more Indy-related note. The Indy Racing League on Tuesday announced they have added the New Hampshire International Speedway to their 1996 lineup. That means they now have 5 events scheduled for next year. The New England 200 will be held on Sunday, August 16th. I'm Dave Calabro, wishing Stan Fox all the best. Hope you have a great weekend.
Thanks, Dave. Now here's a look at the CarQuest racing calendar with events coming up. For all your auto parts needs, you'll find it at CarQuest. We're about out of time, but before we go, all of us at SpeedWeek want to send our best wishes to Stan and Jean and all of the Fox family. We hope for a complete and very quick recovery. We'll have more on Stan's condition next week, and you can look for SpeedWeek all through June at 12:30 a.m. on Friday nights. That's 9:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we leave you tonight with a look at the victory celebrations of the new Indianapolis 500 champion, Jacques Villeneuve. So long, everyone.